and welcome back to my channel, my gorgeous and lovely flowers. It's me, Nia, with Exquisite Floral Design and Events. And today I am back with a video that's in my series, I'm Engaged, Now What? So today we're going to be talking about how do you choose your vendor. This is kind of fun because you get to meet different people. You get to look at some of the things that are very important to you during your planning of your big day. So before we get into these 5 different things you can do in picking your vendors, we first need to go over some few basics. Some of the basic things are to do. Go and schedule some appointments with some of the most sought out vendors, such as that florist who's booked up for years, or that photographer who you can't even get the date 2 years out. It's also important to meet face to face with some of your important vendors. So if you looked at my first video on I'm Engaged, Now What? You needed to set your budget and also find out what are some of the important things you and your fiance had with one another. So once you found out those 3 important things, you want to have face-to-face contact with those vendors because you want to make sure that you guys mesh. And remember, you've got to spend a whole day with some of these vendors, and you want to make sure that their personality is bearable. Because I've been with I've worked with a photographer who was so mean. He had like this sarcastic demeanor, and I was like, oh my goodness, this is horrible. And I was a wedding coordinator, so I had to really deal with him. So I was so worried about my bride. I was like, oh my gosh, she's got to put up with him for the whole day. Wow. Anyway, also remember that you want to respect your vendor's time. If you set up an appointment with them, make sure you are there on time and make sure you show up. So remember, the first thing to do is you want to make sure you have a ballpark figure on what you want to spend on each vendor. And then you want to make sure you set up your budget and then the number of guests that you have planned to attend, and make sure that with the budget and the amount of guests, the vendor that you want to use falls into the general budget of what you're looking for, or the price range of what you're looking for. Again, determine if your personalities mesh. Like I said, I have run into some vendors where they had the worst personalities. I couldn't understand how they were still in business. Me, I'm kind of bubbly, so I probably wouldn't mesh so great with someone who's like really dry. So you just have to make sure your personalities mesh. If you guys meet up together, you're able to hold a great conversation, especially for your wedding coordinator, or especially for your photographer, videographer. You're going to be spending a lot of time with these people. You're going to be talking to them before, your event, way before your event. You're going to be spending the whole day with them. So you want to make sure you can talk to them freely, like they become your friends almost. So make sure your personalities mesh. Get everything included in writing. This is a definite. Everything you talked about, everything that you want included in their package, everything down in writing. Make sure they also itemize everything. I think I have a video about that where, when you're picking your florist, some of the things that you need to make sure that are on your contract. It goes for your florist, your videographer, your photographer, the venue, the whole list of everybody. Also, don't be afraid to negotiate. So sometimes you can get a vendor and get a few things thrown in there. I know I will. Sometimes I'll throw in the toss bouquet, or I'll throw in a little bit something extra, even though I do. When I do something for their wedding, I do go over the top on one thing. So say it's their ceremony, I'll make it grander than what I anticipated, because I want them to know that you've picked the right vendor, and I want you to be happy with what you're getting, and this is going to be a wow factor. These are 5 tips on choosing the perfect wedding vendor.